It's time for the Jim and Terry Show.
She slipped away from me, she just couldn't wait. Left me there with a maxed out card and so much trouble coming after me. Me and my honey nearly made it to the last straight. I kept on buying things, it got her in a state. She left me there with a broken heart and a future that was plain to see.
Here we go again, stuck in mud again. Here we go again, making movies. Here we go again, stuck in mud again. But you said I blew it all away, and I tell you it all goes back tomorrow. Should I forget what I used to know? I couldn't even save enough to save my own soul.
The Jim and Terry Show, back to you from the Hobbit Hole studio in downtown Bobcaygeon. Nice spring day yesterday. The snow was melting, water's flowing, the streams are growing. Signs of spring. Did Punxsutawney Phil or Wyerton Willie see his or her? What are the pronouns for the groundhogs? It, they, them? I'm not sure. Was the shadow seen? Is there a way I can phrase this without using a gender-specific or gender-referenced pronoun? Groundhog, Wyerton Willie, or Wilhelmina. Which is it? I don't know. I'm thinking yesterday, if it's an indication, spring is on its way. Good thing in terms of melting. Yeah, we're all due for some spring. I'm hoping daffodils will be poking their head through the snow, the remaining snow. We didn't get as much snow. I measure my snowfall by how many tanks of gasoline I have to fill up for the snowblower. This year, I purchased one, I'm going to say 5 gallons. What is that in liters? 20 liters? Container of gas, and that was it. And usually I go through 2. So I'm guessing half the snowfall, although the snowfall we did have did come down in clumps. So we did have blizzards. That was fun. If you don't have to drive, if you're retired and can stay home, if you don't have to go out and face the traffic, if you don't have to do a commute, if you don't, yeah. Life is full of those moments where, gee, it could be fun if, or it could be more exciting if the future possible. The song Muddy Waters was just a different style for us, and I love Kevin Gibbons' voice, so that's him. Wigmore Allen Gibbons, Muddy Waters is the tune, and it's all about financial indebtedness, finding yourself in credit card debt and beholden to creditors and having to take the furniture you just bought back. Whatever the circumstances that befall you, I'm sure we've all had those hard choices. People are blaming the inflation rate on our own, in Canada, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. People in Canada are blaming Trudeau on failed gun control legislation and saying he was going after the hunters and the rightful owners of long guns. And no, and not much of what Pierre Poilievre is about is really about anything of credible circumstance. Remember, Poilievre became an MP, he's been there a few years, over a dozen years, I think, under Harper. Don't get me started on Stephen Harper. Don't get me started on conservatives. Don't wind me up. Jim, if you were here, you know. Jim's still away on holidays. So here we go, another solo soliloquy, a monologue. What's on your mind, Terry, at the bottom of your second cup? Maybe I'll have a third. I'm not sure. Anyway, where am I going with all this? Well, I think I'm just going to say that I've been following Twitter under Elon Musk and found the change to be palpable, observable, a lot more, do I say this without sounding judgmental? Looney Tunes from the right stuff going on. Stuff I didn't invite going on. What do they call that? A timeline? I'm not sure I even know how to use it. I use it as a research tool. I follow politics in Canada and follow a lot of the political leaders of the political parties of Canada to stay informed of what they're saying, what they're yammering on about. And much of it is much ado about nothing. Making issues, wedge issues they call them. I call them wedgie issues. You know, when you grab somebody, did I say that we do I remember? I never participated in such shenanigans, the wedgies. I wasn't even a recipient of one. The trick is to navigate elementary school years and your early high school years in ways that you make friends with some of the, football players or some of the, athletes who are a little bit bigger, taller, stronger, and, you hang out with people who are older and wiser. And no, I was never part of those kind of shenanigans. And hazing became politically incorrect for athletic teams. During my tenure even. Yeah, there was hazing. It was known to be done, but I think it's all a form of bullying these days. Speaking of bullying, when you're much ado about nothing, full of sound and fury signifying nothing, to quote from Macbeth, then I think we really need to tone it down. Politics is politics. But really, I think sometimes leaders and politicians embarrass themselves by what they say. And that's just from my notes on Twitter, let alone reading legacy media and following the evening news on the television. Who does that anymore? Put up your hands. I do. Yeah. Call it a coffee chat time. When you turn on the TV, flick it on after dinner and catch up on the world events? Catch up? Or is it mustard? I relish the thought. And the metaphors go on. All right, where am I going with all this? Just to say, Canada politics. I find the whole gun debate and why we couldn't even get gun control legislation expanded in Canada to be a pox. In a day and age when we're sitting north of the border of all kinds of ne'er-do-well influence. And I use that ne'er-do-well, N-E'-E-R, never, ne'er-do-well. The apostrophe takes the place of the letter V in never. Ne'er-do-wells, I like that phrase. Yeah, the malcontents, the trolls, the internet people who go around just stirring up stuff because they can. They are anonymous, usually. People of credibility, and this is, for me, I chose to use my name on Twitter. I didn't want to be part of the anonymous. I didn't want to use a moniker that is any kind of a shield that hides me from either people wanting to connect with me because of what I say or what I post or what I tweet or retweet or whatever I find, and the internet trolls. And I have come to regret that decision because with Elon Musk taking over, there certainly has been an uptick in the ne'er-do-wells, the people who exist to harp on somebody else, who make a whole bunch of sound and fury, but truly they signify nothing but who they are. Maybe they just want to hear the sound of their own voice, and that's part of this selfie narcissistic generation where you have to walk around everywhere with those special pouty lips for those poses. Even my daughter went through that phase. Now looking back upon some of those poses with regret. And some of the filters used on your phones, iPhones especially, come with all kinds of filters. Yeah, it's not good. But, where am I going with all this? I'm not sure. Muddy waters, when things become unclear. The Buddhist expression is, can you wait for the muddy waters to settle? Can you wait for clarity? Clarity of thought, clarity of circumstance. Can you find your way out of the hole you dug, to use the metaphor from the previous podcast? So much to ponder, so little time. The Jim and Terry Show, even without Jim, I feel I run out of time in conversations. If you have a comment, please leave them in the comment box. Please be nice and friendly. Invite discourse. Don't shut it all down.